or you may look at the screen. So when you called the LCRC, they were already like that,
That's correct.
heaped like that onto the back of your buggy, having been handled by many people with bare hands.
That's correct, Commissioner. I can confirm.
So my question is, what did you expect the LCRC to still do after all this serious tampering?
Actually, we called the LCRC to come and take photos and when we count, because that is the procedure.
So all they would have been involved in was in counting and not doing what they ought to have done right at the beginning, before your tampering.
We didn't anticipate that, Commissioner.
Because you were clueless.
I will take the punch.
Now, at paragraph 16 of your statement, page 6, you say that I took out my phone and took photos and also sent to my station commander, Lieutenant Colonel Risenga Albert Chauke, informing him that the operation was a success. You've read that already. You want to see it? Have you found it?
No, I was trying to
Please find
search
it.
for page 16. I was trying to search for this.
6, not 16. Paragraph 6, paragraph 1(6).
Yes, I'm there,
Yeah,
Commissioner.
you remember reading this, but there's that part, and that's my interest. And you say you informed your commander that the operation was a success. What did you mean by that?
I was referring to that the information that we're following about those trucks, the trucks we found inside the container. That is what
Had you seen any drugs?
No, by the bags. I assumed that these bags contained the drugs.
But you had not actually seen any drugs?
Not, isn't it when I called him,
Yes.
I informed him that we were following an information
Yes,
about
yes. I'm
drugs.
asking, but you had not seen any drugs when you said the operation was a success?
Yes, I was referring to the black bags.
All right, all right. Of course, we know that. Let me leave it there. Thank you very much, Warrant Officer.
Thank you.
You're removing of the drugs onto the van, that when all of you that carried those bags did not have any gloves on.
Definitely, yes, Commissioners.
None of you had
None of
gloves
us.
on. Okay. So you would have left your DNA onto the plastic bags
Most possibly.
and fingerprints onto the bags.
DNA fingerprints.
And you accept that in the process you would have destroyed any, or in fact, what do you call it? Reduce the quality of any DNA and fingerprints that may have been on those plastic bags originally.
That's correct.
And so made it difficult for LCRC later on to conduct a proper job of lifting fingerprints and DNA from those bags, because now it's contaminated with yours. You accept that?
I accept that, but can I also say something?
Yes, you can.
Commissioners, you know, according to my information that I've got, one cannot lift fingerprints from a plastic. You can easily lift a fingerprint from a metal,
Do you know, as a matter of fact, that we've heard from evidence here that the LCRC attends these scenes and one of their functions is to try and lift fingerprints and DNA from these coverings and from the bags? Do you know that?
No, I don't.
Okay, that's what the evidence has been from people who are involved with drug busts. Now you know.
I know, Commissioner.
All right.
Maybe, Commissioner, if I come across such a scene, I'll be able to do my best.
I'm hoping that when you come across such a scene or information, you will know to call the right people. You will not get involved with it.
Definitely, Commissioners, that is a learning curve.
Thank you.
That's
But
correct.
you haven't called anyone else at this
No,
point.
no, no, it was
You're waiting for Pakula.
That's correct.
Who works in Pretoria.
a national office, Nino.
Yes.
That's correct. Ms. Wenzel confirmed that they were expecting a truck cabs from Brazil, but denied any knowledge of the black bags, which were suspected to be carrying drugs. We also interviewed the driver, Mr. Brighton Vusim Tembo, and he also denied any knowledge about those bags. It was 23 large bags of suspected cocaine. We then placed the driver of the truck, the warehouse supervisor, Ms. Wenzel, and the warehouse receiver, Mr. Cornelius, under arrest for dealing in drugs possession.
At this stage,
Now-
you did not even know that it was drugs. For all you knew, it could have been blankets in those bags. Why did you place him under arrest for dealing with drugs or being in possession of drugs? You don't even say suspected. You say, we placed the driver of the truck under arrest for dealing in drugs / possession of drugs. But you didn't know that it was drugs in those bags at that stage,
Commissioners,
unless you were sure that it was drugs.
Commissioners, can I take you back to the same paragraph where it says it was 23 large bags of suspected cocaine?
I get that part.
Okay,
Now, you've got bags and you suspect that they are cocaine, but you take it a step further. You say you arrest him for dealing in drugs, not even possession. You arrest him for dealing in drugs / possession of drugs.
That it's an alternative charge, possession of drugs.
Yes. But I'm saying at this stage, you don't even know that it's drugs in there. You still have a suspicion, but you don't even know. But you're already arresting people for being in possession of something you don't know.
At this stage, I would say, based on our suspicion, which were later confirmed.
No, forget about what was confirmed later. You're already effecting an arrest. You're saying here you place the people under arrest for being in possession of drugs and for dealing in drugs. I mean, for you to arrest somebody for being in possession of drugs, you must know that they are drugs.
I agree, Commissioner.
And here you say the bags had not even been opened. So for all you know, it could have been blankets in those bags.
Some other powder. May have been any powder or even a brick in there. So you haven't opened the bags. All you have is the informer, who's not even your informer, is Mr. Mashaba's informer. But you, SAPS, not Mr. Mashaba, you are the one that effects an arrest based on suspicion of matter that you haven't even had a look at. All you have is black bags. Explain how that makes sense and how that fits in with proper police procedures.
Commissioners, I wouldn't say this was premature, but to bring more sense in this, I would say, because according to the information that was given by the informer, everything is confirmed.
Not everything is confirmed. It's black bags. They mean nothing to me. Even as you're sitting there saying to me, there are drugs in there, I will ask you, did you open and look? Which you didn't ask your informer. You haven't told us. that you asked your informer, the informer to, did you see what's inside? You tell us you didn't open the bags. So we know as you sit there that all you have in front of you is bags.
That's
and
correct,
your
Commissioner.
informer has said there will be drugs in that truck. So the question that Commissioner KHUMALO is asking you is, are you a seasoned policeman? How do you arrest people on the basis of what you haven't seen and confirmed for yourself, that this is indeed drugs? That's what you're being asked. How do you do that?
My answer to that, Commissioner, would say it was premature.
Unless you already knew that there were drugs in this container, and that was your reason for going there. Yeah.
Commissioner, I don't want to come defensive. I take that other punch.
The premature one.
I take this one that maybe the arrest was premature.
Not that you knew that in the container and in the bags it was cocaine, and you knew that in advance.
Because yes, it was just drugs.
Okay, let me test this. Why did you not open one bag and satisfy yourself that, yes, the information from the whistleblower or the source is correct? I've opened this. I've opened one of the bags. I can actually see that it is white powder. I have not tested it, but based on what I know, it might be drugs. Why didn't you at least open to check? And I'm not suggesting that you should have opened it. I'm just testing.
At that stage, Commissioner, I think it was still too early. And our personnel will think that we will be tampering with the evidence. And moreover, we don't have any experience.
And just remind us last time, you may have said it already, so I apologize for asking again. What was your reason for loading these bags in your van, which does not have a canopy? And the reason I'm asking you this is you saw later on when the LCRC people arrived, the bags were put on the ground in the pavement and photos were taken of the bags. I'm trying to understand why you did not pack these bags on the pavement so that you wait for LCRC or other people to arrive and attend to them. Why did you see the need to load them in the back of your van?
Commissioner, I think at this stage, when the bags were loaded at the back of the park, it was only me and Mashaba at the scene. And
yes, what was the reason for that? Why did you not take them on the ground?
I'm trying to get the Commissioner. Being that the case, the scene, it was now getting more chaotic. So for us to safeguard, because if the scene, if the bags were loaded at the back of, we could easily see if someone will go and maybe try and grab one. That was the main idea. That's correct, Commissioner.
Did you keep a record as you were loading them in the back of your buggy?
Yes, Commissioner. On that day in question, I had my diary with me.
Yes.
Because I just visited the station. So what happened is that I was even taking notes of everything that was happening there, like the registration of the cars and everything. This was also even the serial number of the seal. So when we were arrested, what happened is my diary was inside the car, and it was inside the car. So after our arrest, the bike was taken to Poison's station for safekeeping. So Late after 2 weeks when we were released, when we got bail, the diary was nowhere to be found.
So the diary is missing.
It was missing. I thought maybe it will be in the 13, but it was not there.
Okay, thank
That
you.
is a fair answer, Commissioner.
Thank you.
We established earlier that the truck belongs to Scania and the driver is employed by Scania. You have removed the truck, no, by Yellow Jersey, the truck and the driver. You have removed the truck from Yellow Jersey. Why are you arresting the driver now? Remember, he came with a container which has a seal to it. It's not an open container. It has a seal. Why are you arresting him?
Commissioner, the trucks were transported from Durban to Ireton or Yellow Jersey by the driver.
Do you know anything about the sealing of the container from its original source, where it came from Brazil, how that works up to it gets to the harbor, and from the harbor to the depot, from the depot it's now on its way to Gauteng. That seal there, do you know whether it was broken by the driver along the way or that it was actually as it came from Brazil? Did you know anything about it? Did you ask any questions?
No, I will be lying.
So you arrest the driver even though the container has an original seal, presumably from the original point of departure in Brazil. You arrest the driver even though he didn't put in these drugs in the truck.
By the virtue of him being the driver from Durban, we arrested him based on that.
You arrested him for driving the drugs.
For transporting the trucks.
Yes, driving the drugs.
That's correct, Commissioner.
Okay. Conveying, because this is your statement.
This is my statement, I agree.
So what were you conveying when you said, we're still waiting for the role players to come and decide? If you've already decided they will go to Boysen.
No, this was just additional to do. But the fact of the matter was that, and even, even procedurally dictates that because the drugs were found in Ireton, that is where the suspect and the exhibit must be put.
So these police officers would have known that. So you were not pulling their legs in any meaningful way because you say procedurally. That's how it's supposed to happen. So these police officers, you would not have any reason to argue with them because you say, we started arguing about after they asked that. And I'm saying, well, they knew, you say, they knew because procedurally that's what happens. So they wouldn't have asked the question if they knew that these would have to be booked in Boysens. In fact, they would have told you, these must go to Boysens.
That is why I'm saying...
Which makes me ask the question, when you answered the way you did, when you took these drugs and put them on the van, because they are on your van, and there's just you and Mashaba there, what was the plan? Boysens is not yet there, these police officers. They arrive, they ask questions, you say, well, the crime scene started there. And I asked you, why Alberton? You said, because that's the original crime scene. That's where it started. That's why Alberton. So I accept that explanation on face value. That's where the scene started. So yeah, on your reasoning, you would have gone to Alberton.
But rightfully, it was the drugs were not going to, the drugs, including the suspect, we were not going to book them in Alberton. And because another thing, commissioners, it was very strange. Sergeant Ndo, it's a sergeant. Why was he asking?
No, forget Ndo and why he's asking. Let's talk about you.
That's correct.
You did not report yourselves to Boysen Police Station. Commissioner KHUMALO asked you the question earlier that we've had other evidence where people who are operating outside of their jurisdiction, they go and report. We were told that's what you do. You did not do that. Boysen doesn't know you're around. Boysen doesn't know that you've got this amount of drugs. You haven't called Boysen to ask them, do you have space for this? But you say to us, well, they are on your truck. You had already decided they will go to Boysen. Make that make sense?
Commissioner, the answer that I'm giving to the commissioners is exactly what was going to happen. The drugs and the exhibit were going to be booked at Boysen. And Commissioner, just to take one step back, I'm trying to answer to the question, the previous question that was raised, that why I didn't phone 10-111. You know, as chaotic as the scene unfolded, it was because of this thing was sent to the radio control. That's why more police started flocking in.
The question asked about 10-111 was long before the chaos happened. You were asked the question, you have an informer, according to Mashaba, who says there are drugs there. You go there. You go to Yellow Jersey. It's just the two of you and your informer. And then you proceed from there. You go to Scania, and it's you, Mashaba, and your informer and the security from Scania, and the employee, from Yellow Jersey, the security men, and then you've got Scania people, Wenzel and somebody. So there's no chaos at that point. The question was asked in that context, that when you arrived there, why did you, as you are calling all of these other people on your way, and when you arrive there, you're calling all of these people to come and help you, and many of them are not available, why did you not call 10-111? The answer can be because of chaos, because at that point there is no chaos. Nothing has happened yet.
I agree.
You haven't even opened the container. The drugs haven't yet fallen out. There's nobody else. So it's a different conversation altogether. So it has nothing to do with this.
I agree.
Yes. Thank you.
Can I just understand this? Was it your intention to transport these bags either to Boysen's police station or Alberton in this bakkie of yours without a canopy uncovered? How did you plan to move those bags from Alberton to wherever you were going to book them?
Commissioner, I would definitely wouldn't have risked to transport these trucks without proper escort and without like in an open park like this.
But you hadn't called any escort.
No.
You had only called Pakula, and if he hadn't arrived, what would you have done?
No, Commissioner, the scene was still far from over. We were not going to leave until the scene was properly handled and everything processed at the scene. It was still very early.
But you had taken no steps to call the people who were supposed to process the scene. You had only called Pakula, who said he was busy. And once you verified that there are drugs there, then he might make a turn. But at this point, as we had already agreed, all you knew was that you found bags in the container and you loaded them on your bakkie and you had arrested people. That's where you were.
Commissioners, yeah, maybe because there's no timelines. It was not even an hour that we were at the scene. It was because if I must be approximate, we arrived at the scene between 8 and 10 past. The poisons guys arrived maybe 20 minutes later, while the scene was still, while the scene was not even processed as yet. So it was still very early to say, no, this is how we're going to transport. The intention of loading these bags at the back of the parking was solely to secure them. Nothing else. There was no other ulterior motive.
There's one thing I need to test with you before you deal with your interaction with other officers, and if are we able, thank you so much. That is your bakkie after the bags were loaded onto it.
That's
right?
correct.
And the police vehicle that arrived is that one that is parked right in front of the bakkie.
That's correct.
In that photo that is on page 109. And then you'll see that this is a News 24 or Media 24 newspaper article from the 22nd of February, 2025. Do you see that? On top of page 109, top left, where there's a headline, Update Crime Intelligence Battle.
I see that.
Just on top of that, there's a date, 22 February 2025. Do you see that?
It's
Yeah.
last year on the 22nd of February.
And what they do here, they deal with the disciplinary proceedings relating to General Khan. But if you go to 115, and this is what caused the confusion. Remember, I was confused about the 5 series, 7 series. If you go to the top of the page, you will see that the newspaper article 115.
115.
Yes.
Yes, I see it, Commissioner.
115, the newspaper article had identified the vehicle as a 5 series and not a 7 series.
It's a 7 series.
And I'm embarrassed to have fallen for it. I should know better. It is a 7 series.
It's a human error, Commissioner.
Yes, but I am embarrassed. And then halfway down that page, you will see that there is something that appears to be a WhatsApp chat between two people. Still on page 115.
I see that, Commissioner.
Yes. And we don't know who the source is because this is in a newspaper article. But I think it's only fair that I ask you because you are here. I don't want there to be insinuations that it is you if it's not you. So to be fair to you, I want you to respond to this and tell us whether it is you who's participating in those WhatsApp chats. Because what is clearly happening here is that these people know that there was cocaine and it belonged to somebody and they had located where it was and they were reporting back to the owner of this cocaine that it is at this place and this is what is happening with it. So I just want you to tell us if it is you who is participating in these chats. If it's not you, whether you know who is this person who is participating in these chats.
I'll be honest with you, Commissioners. Yesterday, as I was following this, I was also, I don't have a knowledge as to where is this thing coming from and who are the people who were involved talking, who were chatting on this. I saw it for the first time yesterday while Colonel Stein was testifying.
And I hope you did not fashion your evidence based on what you were watching yesterday.
No, somewhere you align yourself and see, I mean, if...
No, you must tell the truth. There's no need
No,
to
no,
align.
no, I'm telling the truth. That's why I'm so comfortable.
But you can clearly see, looking at that chat, that it refers to the containers and that the containers are still there. And whoever the other person is, if you look at the blue bars, they say, then send the pics with the seal so I can show the people I'm getting heavy threats, give me till 7, boss, I'm pressing all these guys. Do you see that?
Commissioner, maybe because I don't follow, I see this 2021, but this article was for last year, February. Am I correct?
No, but remember the point is, this chat was taking place while the scene was still live on the 9th of July, 2021. That's the point of it.
What time was this chat made?
Warrant officer, let's not concern ourselves with the time. Remember, my simple question was, are you participating in these chats?
Not
if
at
the
all.
answer is no, do you know who was participating in
Not
the chats?
at all.
And if you don't know, you don't know.
I don't know.
So don't try to analyze them.
No, I'm sorry
Because
about
as
that.
I said, we don't know what the source is. And I was only being fair to you by referring you to them so that we don't leave it unattended and people assume that it was you who was reporting back to the owners of this drug.
Like I'm saying, on this day in question, on the 9th, I was the first one to be arrested, and so my phone was taken away at around 12 o'clock, and this chat, I will like to distance myself from this chat. I don't know the origin.
If we manage to access your phone, we will not find the chats that put you in trouble.
Not at all. I can even, this is the phone that I was using during my arrest. Even today, I'm still using the same.
You know we can retrieve.
The one-time view.
Yes.
Yeah, so it happened.
Let's leave it there.